Thank you. All right. So I might go to apologies, and we recognise the apologies from Glenn Hare, Kylie Rayner, Kez, and Dan and Rebecca Cooper. And our could I ask that someone move those apologies, please, to be accepted?
I'm happy to move the apologies.
Thank you, Megan. And someone to second, please.
Second. Better.
Thank you, Justin. And so all those in favour say aye.
Aye.
All those against say nay. The ayes have it, so that's accepted and carried.
If I might interject, Kim, would I be able to I didn't quite get a screenshot for social media before, so would I be able to perhaps have a crack at that again?
Sure. Do you want us to do anything? Wiggle our hands around?
We'll try one without and then one with, and we'll see what looks better. Okay. All right, so I'll take one in 3, 2, 1. And then we might give one. Let's try and...
Going to do hearts or wiggles?
Why don't we do wiggles? We'll give
wiggles.
That
okay.
If that, see how that goes.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
And I've got to.
One-handed.
That'll do. Thanks, Kim.
Fantastic. Thank you. So we're hoping to get into the South Coast Register just so we can get a little bit of media and encourage other people to come to the club. All right. So agenda alterations, we have myself doing agenda alterations, and we have Linda is going to be Evans evaluator. Thank you, Linda, for stepping into that role. So it's now my pleasure to hand the meeting over to our Toastmaster, Megan Ash. Thank you, Megan, for taking this 1000th meeting of our Toastmasters Club.
Thank you very much, Kim. I have actually noticed that our person giving the toast is not yet with us this evening. Rosemary, so I might, in her absence, Kim, give the toast, if that's all right. So reflecting on our 1000th meeting, the 999 meetings that went before it, the amount of effort that people put in to speech preparation, to helping others, to actively listening, to providing feedback in such a positive and supportive manner that in all aspects of your life, others actually seek out your feedback because they know that they can count on you, not for a whitewash, but for feedback given in a very positive and supportive way and meaningful, so that it enables the person to grow and to build from strength to strength. Over the years, the 40 years that the club has been going, everyone has a voice. But unfortunately, not everyone has a chance to learn how to express themselves. But those of us that come to Toastmasters value that gift. Not that we all become extroverted people, different people. We become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be, so that we can have our voice, that we can go to a wedding and give the toast. We can toast at our children's 21st. We can give the eulogy at a dear friend's funeral, that we can go to an interview and absolutely nail it because we're able to speak off the cuff, that we can just build gradually, step by step, confidence that enables us to be the best version of ourselves that we can be. And then we can learn to give, to mentor others, and in the course of that learning, to become leaders. Just step by step, a little step at a time. One meeting at a time, 999 meetings. And here we are standing on the shoulders of giants with our 1000th meeting. I feel proud to have benefited from all of the work that has gone before. And I hope that what we pass forward through our meetings and to those that will come into the next millennium of meetings is welcomed, is appreciated, and is as fulfilling for the future members as it has been for us. So ladies and gentlemen, if I could ask you all to please, if you have a drink, to join with me in a toast to Nowra Toastmasters.
to Nowra Toastmasters.
Nowra Toastmasters.
Thank you.
Toastmasters.
So now it's my pleasure to welcome this evening our grammarian. Now, the role of the grammarian is to introduce a word to us. Sometimes it's a word we're familiar with, and sometimes it isn't, but it's one that they're going to encourage us to make the correct use of throughout our meeting. And also, the grammarian will listen to our ums and ahs and will also provide feedback on perhaps some figurative language that is used through our assignments. So, acting as our grammarian this evening, please join with me in welcoming John Townsend.
Good evening, everyone. As your grammarian, it's a pleasure to be here, particularly at this significant meeting. The word of the day today is milestone, which raises, sorry, everyone knows what milestone means, but when you think back about it, where did it come from? It came from all those posts stuck down the side of the road a mile apart. But God, you've got to go back to 1986. We gave that up. And why don't they call them kilometre stones now? Just a silly observation. Now, the meaning of milestone, a significant event or stage in the life process, development of a person, nation, etc. And an example of such is simply tonight's 1000th fortnightly meeting is a major milestone for our Nowra Toastmasters Club. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, John. And it is wonderful to share this milestone with so many distinguished visitors and guests tonight, as well as our members. That now brings us to our formal speech part of the meeting. And I'm very pleased this evening to have three very experienced Toastmasters who will share their speeches with us. Our first speaker this evening is Heike Tai. And Heike is working on a speech this evening whose objective is effective body language. So the purpose of the assignment is to deliver a speech with an awareness of both intentional and unintentional body language, to learn, to practice, and refine how they use non-verbal communication in their speech. Heike's speech will go for 5 to 7 minutes. So, Mr. Timer, if we could please have the green on 5, the amber on 6, and the red on 7. And Heike's speech this evening will be evaluated by Daniel Newcomb. So for a speech entitled Surfing Toastmaster, please welcome Heike Tai.
Hi, everyone. Milestones. That's what we're talking about. But I want you to have a bit of fun. Can I just see the hands up on who knows how to surf? Hands up. Come on, I want to see. I've got a couple more coming up. Great. Because I'm going to take you surfing now. So, first of all, you all have seen the surf. You all watch the surf. And wow, do they look good? They are just running on those waves, looking very elegantly until they get dumped. But fantastic looking. So there, Australia Day, Surfers Paradise. What a milestone. I took my first surfing lesson. I was committed. So we were marched down to the beach and we were handed a big, and I mean a big surfboard. And we had to carry that surfboard all the way down to the beach. And I thought, wow, this is gonna start now. We're going to have fun. Didn't happen. First thing, they had us on the sand. We had to put that board on the sand and practice. How do you get up? How do you move it? But eventually they did let us in the water. And I found out something else. As you're trying to get forward, that surfboard is very, very hard to move. And those lovely waves coming in at you, they hit you in the face. I swallowed a lot of salt water that day. But eventually, I was sitting behind the waves. And I started looking around, feeling very proud of myself. I made it. Here I was sitting on the board, waiting for my wave to come. And then I realized I was sitting here all by myself. The next surfer was a long way away. That shadow under my board, was that a shark? God forbid. Anyway, I threw those thoughts away because they're not very helpful. And I caught the first wave I could catch, and out I went. It was marvelous. It was exhilarating. It was so much fun. I did it again and again. And at the end, exhausted, I made it back to the beach. And then I could talk to everyone. All the other students were comparing notes and we were saying, how was your wave? How was this? It was exhilarating double time because we were sharing. Now, I was thinking afterwards, I may not have become a surfer, but there is a lot of similarities to Toastmasters here. All of us have watched those keynote speakers, those TED talkers, those people who manage to say something in 2 minutes, which is so significant and profound, it could be written down as a milestone. And here we are still going, up, up, up. I wish I had said that 2 days later. So, Toastmasters, we do get a board to ride on. It's called Pathway. It's big, it's cumbersome, and getting it out there behind the waves is a tough job. Then, as we schedule our little roles, and a small meeting role might be like a 2-meter wave. Our speeches, the waves are getting bigger, they are 3-meter waves. We're going to go into competition and the waves are starting to look like something in Hawaii, like a pipe, and it could dump us. But we have that moment of fear where we're going, can we do it? Can we do it? Can we survive it? What embarrassment is waiting for us as we come back into the shore and deliver our speech? Well, they are the comparison, but the comparisons don't stop here, because at the end of it, the community we get through Toastmasters is a bit like the surfing community. And in the surfing community, they say, surfing is life. The rest is details. Toastmaster is where leaders are made. The rest doesn't cut the mustard. Fellow Toastmasters, Chairman, back to you.
Thank you, Heike. What a wonderful speech. It did remind me actually of a team building session I was invited to once, where someone decided, someone in their 20s actually, that learning to surf would be this great team building exercise, until I pointed out that 5 members of my team couldn't swim. And it may not be the best idea going into the ocean. They thought I was a bit of a party pooper, but swimming I thought was a fairly important prerequisite. So we decided to sit on the beach in the deck chairs. But it did look very interesting from the beach in looking at the water. Thank you for sharing that with us, Heike. That was wonderful. Our next speaker this evening is Kim Taylor, and Kim has been working on her leadership development pathway. In Kim's speech this evening, what she's going to be sharing with us is some aspect of her experience of having led a team, applying what she learned from the project, the impact of that leadership experience, and what the results of that completed project might be. Kim is also giving a 5 to 7 minute speech, and Kim's project this evening will be evaluated by Justin Munyard. So for a speech entitled Love Over Fear, Love Over Fear, please welcome Kim.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. There are no great things, only small things done with great love. Mother Teresa quoted that. And this is my all-time favourite quote and an idea that I aspire to live by. So it's no surprise when I thought about telling you about my leadership experience that love is the headline in my leadership thoughts. Now, sometimes we don't associate love with leadership, but I want to, I guess, invite you to think about love in leadership. My project was leading the Nowra Toastmasters Club International Evaluation Speech Contest last year, and I was the contest chair. And my leadership role was to invite speakers to the contest and organise and coordinate volunteers for the roles and to liaise with the Zoom host and our contest chief judge. And it is quite a task, and I know many of you in the room have organised these kind of contests, and there's a lot to do, and there's a lot of good leadership skills required. And in Toastmasters, the leadership pathway suggests that the attributes of a good leader are good communication, open-mindedness, optimism, and sincerity. And so I want to explain and talk to you about each one of these and how love over fear impacted my experience of leading this event. So communication. If I'm in a fear-driven leadership in my communication, it's often people-pleasing. I find that I people-please, and I'm kind of fearful about asking for help because I struggle with trusting people and they're going to come through and deliver. So as an example, I might send a message to someone and say, if it's not too much trouble, if you're not too busy, or if you're not too flat out, or sorry to bother you, and it's kind of apologetic and pleading, so you can actually hear my fear in my asking people to help. Whereas if it's a love-driven request, it's loving myself and also loving the other person, but it's actually more confident, and it's more about just simply asking for the task to be done and thanking them for their time. Because after all, especially Toastmasters want to help each other. So I guess that's what I've learned, is to ask, and people actually come and help, and I don't need to be in fear. I can just be in love to communicate with my fellow Toastmasters. Open-mindedness. We can often struggle with open-mindedness when we are fear-driven leadership, because we become defensive, closed-minded, and a bit rigid. So during the contest, as an example, I received a message that someone couldn't do their role kind of last minute. And this happens all the time in Toastmasters, doesn't it? We need to be flexible, not rigid. Fear-driven leadership, my thoughts might go something like this. Yeah, that's because they either think I'm a poor leader, or they don't think I can run a good contest. So, you go into this self-critical place, or you might become critical of them. I can't trust them. They're going to let me down. And we start to judge, because we're sort of sitting in this kind of fear place that we think the whole event's going to fall over if we lose people's support. Whereas if we lead from love and we have an other person-centered attitude, we can think, they probably tried to do their best to get to the contest and serve, and it must be very disappointing for them. So I'd respond very differently and empathically and go, look, I understand your personal difficulty that you couldn't come to this event. And also I would invite them to help me again. I wouldn't close the door on their volunteering. And often fear-driven leadership closes the door on relationship, whereas love-driven leadership opens the door on relationship. So it's really about checking ourselves about how we respond to people in our team. Optimism, fear-driven leadership is pessimistic, isn't it? So as an example, the contest was 1 week out and I only had 2 contestants for one part of the contest. And I thought, the whole thing's going to fall over. And and it's all about me, this success is all about me. And so I started to worry it's going to be a complete failure and I'm going to look really bad as the leader, because these are the pessimistic thoughts. And so I might send a message about desperately asking for people to join up and sign up to do their speeches. Whereas love-driven leadership is optimistic, isn't it? And so I would send a message that's more like this, and I actually did, because I have learned how to motivate people. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone coming to the contest. We have a fabulous team of helpers ready to make this an exciting contest and lots of fun hearing everyone's speeches. And you can hear my optimism is creating an atmosphere of welcome and safety and welcoming people with open arms. So this positive attitude is actually encouraging people to join in rather than sharing my fear about having a difficult or bad meeting. And finally, sincerity is defined as the absence of pretense. And I learnt this firsthand in my leadership role. And this was a difficult one to learn, but I did. I had a complaint about an issue in the club and I went straight into fear. And I got frustrated and my communication style was angry and defensive. Whoops. And that's because I had a fear of not pleasing people and them thinking I was going to be a poor leader. I'm a bad leader. So it was all about me. So what love made me do was apologize for my anger, admit my fear, and the other person felt understood and validated, and the rupture was beautifully repaired. So I guess I just want to encourage you, leaders, because you're all leaders when it comes to Toastmasters, to choose love over fear. It's a recipe for success. Leadership is about relationship. So fear closes the door on relationship. Love opens the door on relationship. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Kim. What a wonderful insight onto leadership. I had never heard it expressed like that. And actually being ridiculously optimistic in pretty much all aspects of my life, it is lovely to hear it expressed in such a positive way. And I have learnt the power of the I'm glad I have rather than I wish I would have something. And I think that optimism and that basing it on love is such a positive message. So thank you for sharing that with us. That was great. Our next speaker this evening is Mac. And Mac is working on his presentation mastery pathway. So this is actually, Mac is a very experienced speaker. So this is his 4th chosen pathway, but it's a level 1 speech. And the objective of this speech is to present a speech that he has given before, but to this time incorporate the feedback that he received the first time he gave it to see whether he has grown as a speaker and improved the reception of the speech. So Mac's speech this evening is going to be evaluated by Shweta. So, and also it will be a 5 to 7 minute speech, so the same lights as before. So for a speech entitled, "What manner of person wears the maroon beret?" What manner of person wears the maroon beret? Please welcome Mac.
What manner of person wears the maroon beret? Do you know? Come closer and let me enlighten you on the milestones that the people who wear the maroon beret achieve. are the people who wear the maroon beret special. Superheroes. A different kind of breed. Let me tell you from experience, no, they are not. They are simply the same as you and I. The difference is they are volunteers to do something that most people will never, ever do. Regardless of country, race, religion, or sex, they are all volunteers to do the parachute course. In the Australian Army, the parachute battalion only started in 1982. My unit, then being the 3rd Battalion, Royal Australian Regiment, was stationed in Woodside down in South Australia. And the Greater Army decided we needed a parachute unit. Prior to that, we were just basic infantrymen, going along doing our job like most of the Army. However, we put our hands up to stay in the unit because of our mateship and become airborne soldiers. In actual fact, you get the title of paratrooper. What's the difference between a paratrooper and a parachutist? First of all, a parachutist has fun. They do it they pay to do it and they enjoy it. A paratrooper does it, it's his job. The other big difference between a parachutist and a paratrooper is the parachute is only a means for a paratrooper to get into the war zone or wherever else the government wishes to send them. Unlike Air Force pilots, once an Air Force pilot or crew leaves their aircraft, under the Geneva Convention, they're not supposed to be shot at. A paratrooper can be shot at in the aircraft, out of the aircraft, and on the ground. He is fair game the whole time. Under a parachute means nothing. It's just his means of delivery into the battlefield. He is fair game. So, what makes a paratrooper stand out from the rest? First thing I said, they're a volunteer. They're always a volunteer. No one can order you to go and do a parachute course. On qualification, you are accepted into the world of the airborne fraternity, the brotherhood of other paratroopers. Once again, like I said, regardless of sex, race, or religion, you are accepted. The Maroon Beret is recognized worldwide as the Airborne Force paratrooper. No other beret recognizes that in the world. We are accepted into a great fraternity of band of brothers. Regardless of where you go in the world, you put on your maroon beret, whether you're in the army or have left the army, people know exactly what you are. And if they're airborne, they'll come up and say g'day to you because you're in a great fraternity and brotherhood. We are not special. We are not superhuman. We are volunteers. And it doesn't matter what rank you are, whether you're a lieutenant colonel or a private. It's the same course. You also must be a volunteer. And we go through everything the same. We rely on each other to check our backs in the aircraft because you physically can't check your back once you get your parachute on. I'll go through that detail another day. The other thing that makes us unique is that we have the same scare or healthy respect, regardless of what country you're in, because every time we put a parachute on and step out of the plane, there is a risk of serious injury or death. That's why not everyone becomes a paratrooper. So what manner of person wears the maroon beret? A volunteer, somebody who has completed the parachute course successfully and is accepted worldwide in the great brotherhood of airborne forces, regardless of whether you're still serving or out until the day you die. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mac. What a wonderful insight to the world of paratroopers. I must say, I may not have surfed before, but I have parachuted once, and it was one of the best things I had ever done. The lighter you are, the longer it takes to land, and it was the most serene moment. I didn't realize until afterwards how dangerous it probably was, but it was absolutely brilliant. So I do admire you being able to do it as a job as a volunteer. So thank you really for sharing that with us, Mac. That was a wonderful insight. So now one of the main advantages of Toastmasters is that everything we do receives feedback. So for each of our prepared speeches, we have an evaluator. Each of the evaluations is given a 2 to 3 minute time frame. If we could have the green light on 2, the amber on 2.5, and the red on 3. So our first speaker this evening was Heike Tai, our surfing Toastmaster. So to give Heike some feedback on her speech, please join with me in welcoming Daniel Newcomb.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Wow, Heike, that was a great speech that you gave, as always. So to start with, you had, as always, a cheerful introduction with lots of vocal variety throughout the whole speech, which was really nice to see. Very good use of your body language, and it was like interpretive dance tonight. It was really good fun to watch. And you also had good positioning within the field of the camera, as because it's not like being at Toastmasters where you wouldn't have to position yourself and be the director and production manager for yourself. So there was some recommendations I got. They're not much, as always, because you're a really good public speaker. So it's more technical stuff, Heike, this time. So there was a very noticeable echo from your speaker. I'm not too sure if you need to put pillows up around you or you're recording in a cathedral, maybe. And then the second one was the background whilst you were moving. It's obviously a Zoom issue, but parts of you looked like you were auditioning for The Invisible Woman. So I'm not too sure how you could fix that, but I had to pick some recommendations for you. I also thought you had very clear speech throughout the whole delivery of your speech and your message that you gave, and it was very good. And as always, it was a great speech, and I really struggled to find any at all, if any, recommendations for the whole thing. So well done, Heike, and I'd like to pass you all back to Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Every recommendation is always very well received, and no matter how experienced the Toastmaster, we all need to grow. So I know Heike would have very much appreciated that feedback, Daniel, so thank you for that. Our second speaker this evening was Kim Taylor, who gave us her wonderful speech about leadership that was called Love Over Fear. So to give Kim some feedback on her speech, please join with me in welcoming Justin Munyard.
Thank you, Toastmaster. It was a very interesting speech, and I would agree with Megan when she says that I would never use the term love over fear for leadership, but definitely after this, I do believe it fits it nicely. Your speech was very clear and easy to understand with clear language. There was no misunderstanding. The structure was very well laid out with a clear start, middle and end. We weren't waiting for an end, and we knew when it was done. Keep it. The only thing I would say is, while you did fantastic hand gestures, it was very hard to see when you're very close. So my suggestion to you is just to move back a bit, because when you're, for example, we saw something move, but we didn't understand what the gesture was. But by moving them back, we can see you a little bit more and see all the hand gestures, because we knew you were doing them, but sometimes we just couldn't see it. So my challenge to you was, maybe an idea is to do a small recording of yourself to have a look how you would be seen in a certain position or Zoom. I mean, obviously, once we're back in the real world and not doing Zoom, you don't have to worry about it. But while we're on this lovely channel, this mean, definitely I would, anything I was missing, I didn't see enough of you. And I really wanted, you definitely did the hand gestures. You just didn't see enough of it. But all up, fantastic, very clear, well structured. My only suggestion is make sure we can see all of you. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Justin. It's wonderful to hear the feedback. Everyone receives a speech a different way, and it's great to hear what suggestions people have to increase the impact. Every presentation can always be lifted just that little bit more, no matter how powerful you think it was when you heard it. So that was great insight there. Thank you for that, Justin. Our third speaker this evening was Mac, with his speech entitled, What Manner of Person Wears the Maroon Beret? And to give Mac feedback on his speech, please join with me in welcoming Shwetha.
Good evening to all Toastmasters and guests. It is my pleasure to evaluate Mac's speech this evening on what manner of person wears the maroon beret. Mac is a very experienced speaker, and today Mac gave an informative speech on the paratrooper and Mac's own experience about as a paratrooper. The speech had all the information. There was so much of information to support the title, and the speech was very well structured, easy to follow. Even though it is on Zoom, Mac tried his best to have an eye contact with all the participants, maybe what I felt. Speech was very nice, easily constructed and easy to follow. There was beautiful hand gestures as well in between. And the use of props had given more weightage on Mac's speech. We could easily able to relate what he's going to speak and how it will be, and his involvement in the speech. So overall, this was very good. And the points of improvement for Mac would be, I could say, same as from his previous speech. Mac has really worked on his hand gestures. Maybe he slowed down a little bit, but I would like to challenge Mac to slow down and to work a little bit more on Zoom, because it's not Mac's fault, but because of Zoom, sometimes the gesture was very, very quick and it was blurring your screen, or we could not able to follow the gestures properly. And the second point of improvement would be there was a lot of information to follow, but it would be great if Mac can include some life experience to make it more interesting. there was an experience, but what I'm suggesting is if we can include some tiny examples about his own experience or his friends or something could add more weightage, or it will take to the speech to the next level. Other than that, overall, it was a very, very nice speech, very well structured, easy to follow. Wonderful speech. Thank you, Mac.
Thank you very much, Shweta. It's wonderful. Our speakers put so much effort into giving us their best version of their speech. And so it's wonderful to hear how well our evaluators pay attention in order that they can give them something on which to work and move through their Toastmasters journey, building skills and becoming better and better. So thank you all for a very interesting speaking session. So we'll now take a 10-minute break, a chance to have a bit of a comfort stop, maybe get a cup of tea or a little glass of wine. And so if we could all come back by 8 o'clock, and we'll resume the second half of our meeting.
Also, Megan, before we end, Fiona, will you have the bells by the time we come back, or?
I might head off now. The bells did ring, but it was a Mickey. It was what they call a Mickey division.
Okay.
Which is a Mickey division is when they call quorum into the chamber. It's a bit of a tactic.
Right.
So I don't have to go in.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So, but yeah, no, I might get going. But thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you, and wonderful speeches and feedback. And yeah, it was really lovely to be able to be a part of it. And
thank you.
yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Fiona.
See you, everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
So we'll take a 10-minute break, Kim, or you want to aim to come back around 8ish? Or
I just want to let Juliana and Mitzi know we were going to ask for your feedback at the end of the meeting, and also our guest Fiona Cochrane too, instead of having our master evaluator. So that'll be at the end of the meeting. Yeah, just to let you heads up. But yeah, let's have a 10-minute break. Unless someone wants to chat.
I'm here if you want to chat.
Oh yes, hi Linda. Thank you for coming. That's
great speech. I'm so pleased I could actually make it after all that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So didn't have to do the judging tonight.
Wow.
And found it just as I was almost driving in the driveway and got a phone call. So it was like, yay, I can not just bounce into for a 5-minute, I can stay.
Awesome. Beautiful.
And I'm really pleased because I saw Mac's speech 2 nights ago. He was actually, that was an evaluation speech at one of the contests. So got evaluated by a whole bunch of people, and I did his Toastmaster evaluation on a sheet, and that's what I handed on to Shweta to have a look at the suggestions.
Right.
Yeah, so it's great to have seen it a second time, because he just did, wow. I just sneaked off there in between and said, what a great speech. Just 100% improvement on the one he did 2 nights ago. So fantastic.
Great. Beautiful. Yeah, it was great. It was great. Yeah.
Yes,
I didn't know that you were volunteers, Mac. I didn't realize that.
Do the course you volunteer. Once you're qualified, you're no longer a volunteer.
Okay. Yeah.
And every advanced course you do, you're a volunteer for. No one can go and make you do the advanced parachute courses, even the instructor's course. You've got to volunteer for it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But once again, once you're qualified, it's a skill that the Army needs, and your volunteer status ends.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah.
I have a question about the air regiment. Is it you guys who have the Apache helicopters there over here?
We don't have them in the airborne regiment.
Yeah, right. Okay.
They're part of the Greater Army.
I know the 21st in the UK. They utilize the Apaches as the regiment. I thought it might have been the same over here.
Yeah, it's been a long-standing issue with Army helicopters and the airborne force. every other country jumps out of choppers or helicopters in the army, except Australia, because Australian Army helicopter headshed won't allow it to happen.
Risk
And
averse.
we used to jump out of the Navy choppers, so Sea Kings, and you had a Huey there, which was your museum thing. We used to jump out of them, but we couldn't jump out of Army aviation.
You know, they're having a big exercise right now in the UK with the British paras, and they're jumping out of Chinooks.
Justin, is that a colouring competition or?
No, this is getting ready for good old Ukraine and Russia. So yeah.
Hopefully they'll pack their crayons and then they'll be able to draw nice pictures for each other.
Yeah. We used to jump out of Chinooks, and the Chinooks used to be owned by the Air Force.
Yes.
But once the Army took them back again, because the Air Force was holding it on behalf of the Army from years ago, from Vietnam. Once the Army took them back over, we couldn't jump out of them no more.
It's bizarre how the tri-forces work. In Canada, their Air Force man all their aircraft.
Yeah.
Even on the ships that will be manned by Air Force. It's a really bizarre concept. But yeah.
So
when it's their train set and no one else is playing with it, all right?
But pretty much, yeah.
Daniel, when I was in the parachute training school and I was part of the display team, Army display team, we actually went up to Army aviation helicopters, and that was up at Oakey then, the school for the Army aviation. And we actually went there for an open day and big celebration. And our CO at the time bought us Flying Navy t-shirts and ordered us that we had to wear them around the base everywhere we went, including when we jumped, because we normally had our Red Beret t-shirts to jump with and walk around. And he said, if anyone asks you why you're wearing them, just say it's simple. We can jump out of Navy aircraft, but we can't jump out of the same ones in Army.
Which surprised
me. Mac, did you ever get to deliver the grand final trophy into the grand final, stadium? Was that your guys do that?
And your budgie smugglers.
We never, when I was doing it, we never did the, we jumped in at the start, not bringing the trophy in. We brought a ball in, but I never jumped into the grand final. I jumped into just about every rugby league oval.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Wow.
I jumped into twice night jumps into Suncorp Stadium when it was Suncorp Stadium.
Wow.
For Australia New Zealand test.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So yeah, Parramatta, and every time we were pretty well treated like VIPs.
Yeah, bloody hell. Did you get any signed jerseys or anything like that?
We didn't have a lot of room with us to cart stuff around at the time.
If you took up all the room, you got to understand it.
Yeah.
Mac, you jumped in at the, what was it, Formula One or something? What was it down in Melbourne?
Both the Grand Prix and the Indy. Jumped in
Wow.
a couple of times.
Yeah. That's a speech, Mac. Celebrity drop-ins. Come on.
There's thousands of speeches I can have on the on jumping and displays and so forth. It's like one of the feedback I got for this speech when I gave it on Monday night was to give more insight on what happens to the aircraft and everything. And I said to Linda, I said, it's got to be a 20, 30-minute speech. You can't pack it in 5 minutes.
And if you added visuals as well, Mac.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about Ali. Sorry, Mac.
There's one jump that I remember quite well. I didn't jump. I was dispatching, so throwing them out of the aircraft because of my qualification. And I remember that forever because the things that occurred during and after is something that most people will never ever see.
Mac, it's 8 o'clock. And on that suspenseful note, we're just going to have to hold the rest of that discussion. Watch the space for the next question. Is Kim, are you about ready to reconvene for the second half?
She's AWOL.
Oh. Give her a minute.
The joy of house alarms going off next door. Wonderful.
Well, like a burglar alarm, is it?
I thought it was
You know,
your alarm
when,
clock to wake up.
when the member of parliament was saying about how they have a ring just to get quorum, me and C, I was just thinking maybe at district we should do something like that. Ring. And if it's online like this, we should be sending something in through your phone. Imagine that.
It's a very old-fashioned idea, the bells, isn't it? But it's been around for ages.
Yeah.
Kim, are you ready for the second half?
Yep. Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to our second half of the meeting. So in the second half, we'll be largely doing impromptu speaking off the cuff. So our table topic session will be led by Sawandi, and our speakers will speaking for 1 to 2 minutes, which will mean a green light on 1, an amber light on 1.5, and a red light on 2 minutes. So to lead our table topic session for this evening, please join with me in welcoming Sawandi.
Thank you, Megan, and good evening, everyone. And it is Nowra Toastmasters 1000th meeting today, and I'm lucky to be a part of the team, and also congratulations, everyone. Yes, we are getting older, and the past seems to be some exciting just because there is more for it. But there are some things that come and happen only once. And I would like you to recall some of the first things in your life. Since we are celebrating a milestone here today, we are going to go back to our memory lane and think about some first things that we have done in our life. Because if it is a first thing, it will hold a special place in our hearts. Of course, for example, the first day at school, first day at work, your first car, maybe your first love, first date, first kiss. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to ask about the first kiss today because it's about Toastmasters. I'm going to stick into Toastmasters, and we are going to talk about Toastmasters journey. So I would like to invite actually our first speaker as who am I going to invite? Okay, Kim, I would like to invite you. I know you have been Toastmasters for a long time, and I would like you to talk about your first day at Toastmasters Club, first time you joined the Toastmasters. Over to you, Kim.
Thank you, Sawandi. I clearly remember my very first speech that I ever did. In fact, I looked it up not so long ago, and it was called The Busy Bee, and it was all about it was my icebreaker, and because I am a busy bee and was a busy bee back then too. And I was very, very nervous about speaking, and I was shaking, I was sweating. I'd practiced it over and over and over. It was only 3 minutes, long enough to kind of tie your shoelaces and put your socks on. And, 3 minutes is a very short period of time. But I remember being super, super nervous about it and wanting it to be absolutely perfect, because am I a perfectionist? No, I'm not a perfectionist. And so the fear, I've already talked about love and fear. My fear was huge on that first speech, but I remember feeling very safe because it was in a speechcraft course and there were new speakers around me, and it just made me feel so comfortable because everyone else was very nervous as well. And the experienced Toastmasters was shared their own stories and their own journeys, and they were just so incredibly encouraging that I felt that I could risk coming and sharing about myself. And that's where I started, and I was so pleased that I continued with that because it's been a life changer for me. So it's been absolute pleasure sharing my journey of my first speech. Thank you so much, Sawandi, for that question.
Thank you, Kim, sharing your memory with us today. And since we all part of the Toastmasters group, we all remember how we delivered our first speech. So everyone can go back to the memory lane and think about your first speech. And today, Matt is going to talk about the first speech that he delivered to Toastmasters today. Matt, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. My first speech I delivered in Toastmasters seems such a long time ago. And obviously my first speech was an icebreaker about myself. To understand a little bit about my journey, you must understand that I was not coming into Toastmasters voluntarily. My wife put me in as a number to keep the club at the time a viable club. 8 members, I only had 7. And I was in the army still and constantly going away. But this particular day, I was home and I went, okay, darling, I'll come to Toastmasters with you. And just so happened it was also an AGM. And I walked away, someone that wasn't going to be in Toastmasters, but just making my number as the Sergeant at Arms. And I said to my wife, how did that happen? There's 8 of us, there's 8 positions, but you've got 2 of them, and I end up with 1. How did that all happen? So to give a little bit of insight, I was not coming into Toastmasters, but then I got to love Toastmasters. And my first speech was my icebreaker, talking about a little bit about my upbringing in the country, a little bit join the army, a little bit of my family. And obviously, you never have enough time to give everything you want to. I need about 20-minute speeches to give a good speech because 5 to 7 minutes is never long enough. That is about my first speech and a little bit of my journey. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Mac, for sharing with us your journey today. And I still can remember my speech about the icebreaker, how nervous I was. It was not long ago, but I still remember how it was. And the other important part of the Toastmasters Club is mentoring. Everyone has a special person or mentors in our life that who or she pushes us to the next level. So it is an important part in all the Toastmasters life. I would like to invite, who am I going to invite? Shweta, could you tell us about your first mentor at your Toastmasters journey? Over to you.
Thank you, Suvandi. that was a very beautiful topic to speak about a mentor. My mentor in Toastmasters is Megan. She's not only mentor in Toastmasters, but she's my mentor in many things. So it made it very easy for me and Megan to follow each other, since she was my mentor. She's my mentor from last 3 years maybe. In Toastmasters, Toastmasters was, I never thought of Toastmasters. She's the one who introduced me to Toastmasters through a Speechcraft course. I was not even thinking how it can benefit me, because English was my second language. I can't even speak. I can't even give a good speech. How it is going to help me? But Megan is someone who doesn't allow to think. It is only act. So she always pushes to act before I think or I could able to take any decisions. That's what I like about Megan always. And she's a perfect mentor. She's not like someone who pushes to do the things. She gives a lot of options, but there will be a right option for me to choose. Mentoring is, I think it is always about that. A mentor will never pushes anyone to do anything. They'll give so many choices from where we will choose what we want. So I gratefully thank my mentor Megan for mentoring me in Toastmasters and in all other aspects as well. Thanks, Megan. Back to you, Savandi.
Thank you, Shweta. It was lovely to see how the kind words that you talked about Megan. I'm pretty sure she has been a mentor to a lot of people throughout her journey, and I'm glad to get to know about her as well. And when you see the club today at Nowra Toastmasters, even though we celebrated a milestone, there are so many people who came to Nowra Toastmasters from other clubs. It's not the ones whose first meeting is Nowra. There are so many people from other clubs as well. So I would like to invite Haika to talk about your first meeting at Nowra Toastmasters Club. Not your first meeting at the Toastmasters, specifically at Nowra Toastmasters Club.
Heck. Well, I'm just trying to think back. First, it was after COVID. So it was a little bit difficult to find the club, and they were meeting in the big auditorium. Megan, as the sergeant at arms, was just, well, she seemed to be everywhere. It was like someone had multiplied her. She was welcoming you. She was giving you an agenda in the hand. She gave you a tag, said, find a seat somewhere, but you can't sit there, because we had to have all these differences. And I remember sitting in that room. I did close my mouth. I did, I think I did. And I just observed, and I was thinking, what a lovely club. So many people engaged in spite of that social distancing stuff. So it was a great meeting. And guess what? It got me to come back and back and back again. So yeah, I'm still coming back. First meeting was a good meeting, was a good start. And I hope that all our visitors will feel the same and will become members down the track, because it's worthwhile and it's a great club. Thank you.
Thank you, Haika. And I remember my first meeting, I think I called Mac but he was not there at the meeting, and Linda and everyone was welcomed me warmly, and I really appreciate that, and I'm glad that I joined that day. And Toastmasters is something that you can achieve so many things, and literally you can get some awards, you can participate in so many competitions. I would like to ask everyone that, I would like to invite Megan and would like to talk to us about your first Toastmaster award.
Wow, I've actually got a lot of trophies and a lot of awards, and every single one of them really is the outcome of the support of the club. It's amazing. One of the main motivators to go into contests, I think, is how buoyed you feel by the warmth and support and enthusiasm that the whole club has to get you to succeed. So one of the things close to my heart is table topics, and I have been lucky enough to represent. I was a member of Chatswood Communicators, and I was a runner-up twice and came third once in the table topics for District 70 at the time. And it was just so wonderful because by competing at that level, it just encouraged so many club members to go to the annual convention, which they'd never done before. And all of a sudden they realised there's this great family of Toastmasters outside the club. And it's just absolutely wonderful. It's such an eye-opener. And I think I would encourage everyone to think, when you're thinking of going in a contest, you don't actually have to do it for yourself. You do it for the others, because they haven't seen what you have seen in the Toastmasters world outside the club. So unfortunately, I have been runner-up in impromptu speaking at District 70, in humorous speaking at District 70, and evaluation at District 70. So I still have a dream that one day I may be able to win something, but I am going to need a lot of support from Nowra Toastmasters to make my dream come true that Chatswood Communicators was never able to do. Back to you, Sawandi.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you for sharing with us today. And as our last speaker, I would like to invite, I would like to invite Joan to share about, could you please share about your first time you handled a role in Toastmasters, or the event that you organized, or you handled a role as a in the meeting? Could you share the experience with us?
Yeah, it was a simple role. It was a timing role, and it was stressful. But once you got the hang of it, it turned out quite good and fun actually. And it's a relatively simple thing. You just got to keep listening all the time. You can't afford to stop and listen to the speeches themselves, because you start getting involved in the speeches and then you lose track of your timing. Not a good move. But otherwise, it went well. It was quite quick and it was quite good and easy. And then it was followed up. I went to the speechcraft course and did more speeches there and more timing, particularly, and yeah, enjoyed it. It was really good. Back to you, Sawandi.
Thank you, John. And thank you, everyone who participated today. And it was lovely to hear about your Toastmaster journey. And before I hand over to Madam Toastmaster, I would like to give you all a challenge. And because I was talking about something that you have done first today, and I would like to ask the question from you. You have to ask your question and see, when was the last time you did something for the first time, something you have never done before. I know it has been a challenge. We are not trying to do something new. We are comfortable with our lives. So I would like you to challenge for the next week. Do something for the first time. It may be a simple thing, it hasn't to be something major. Do something new and let me know. I would love to hear about that and that you tried and how it went. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Sawandi. That is a very good challenge, actually. When was the last time you did something for the first time? And the other one I heard was, if you haven't changed your opinion in a very long time, check your pulse. You could already be dead. Because it's very good to remember we need to live. We need to live, challenge ourselves. And they say, what do they say? Life begins right at the edge of that comfort zone. You just got to take that extra step across. So thank you for that, Sawandi. It was very insightful Toastmasters questions in that session. Now, to give our impromptu speakers some feedback, I'd first like to welcome Chin, who will be giving feedback to the odd-numbered contestants who took part in the impromptu. So please join with me in welcoming Chin.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. First of all, I would like to congratulate Nowra Toastmaster to achieve the remarkable milestone. And then today we are at the 1000 meeting here. It's my privilege to evaluate the impromptu speech tonight. So I have Kim as our first speaker. So her speech was Kim's speech was first speech that she delivered when she joined the Toastmaster meeting. Her speech was BGB, and then Kim is an experienced speaker, where she delivered with a good voice. Because this is her first speech, so she can easily deliver the situation when she delivered the first speech easily to us. So she mentioned about the nervous and the shaking feeling, and how does she change her mind to make her feel comfortable, because she knew she has a lot of new member with her. They were on the same path to learn, and Toastmaster, they are willing to share their experience and support each other. And then the second speaker is Shweta. Her speech was her special mentor in the Toastmaster. So Megan is her mentor. Yeah, and again, so because it is her helpful experience, and then Shweta delivered the speech very smooth and very confident. She mentioned about like how Megan helped her to gain some benefit, and then how the way Megan do not by pushing her just and giving her so many options so that she can choose which method should Shweta. I noticed Shweta deliver the speech in the good structure. So she delivered in the open, middle, and end. So which is good. And then the last speaker was Megan. Her topic was the first Toastmaster award that she have received. Again, Megan is a good experienced speaker, so she delivered the speech with the good gestures, and overall everyone have delivered a good have done a good job. I would like to congratulate everyone here. Just a minor thing, I would like to challenge, if I know this is doing in Zoom, so we can deliver the speech by standing, then it will give you more, then people will easily see your speech. Okay, back to you, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And now to give some feedback to the even-numbered contestants, please join with me in welcoming Linda.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster. So I had 3 people to evaluate, and delightfully, my first one is Mac, who spoke about coming into the Shoalhaven City Club when it was then the club we were first in. His first speech he was going to talk about, and I liked the way he did repeat the question. That was a great way to start and give him a little bit of time to think about how to answer it. And of course, he had lovely humour talking about the way he was dragged into Toastmasters. I enjoyed that, and yes, that is actually how it happened. I'd like to make a recommendation to Mac to remember to keep your eyes on the camera when you're speaking. I noticed that the eyes went down as you were thinking. So just try and keep that head up and eyes into the camera. I loved the way Mac took us on a journey though, and finished by actually answering the question with his talking about his first speech as his icebreaker and a little bit about what that contained. So well done, Mac. That was a really an exceptional way to put together a table topic speech. Heike was my second person that I was evaluating. She was asked about her first meeting at Nowra. Now, of course, Heike came to us from another club when she moved down this way. I loved the humour in Heike's speech also. And I loved the way she talked about how she sat down, a little bit of detail about our always busy Megan, and, you know, that she really thought, what a lovely club. I love the sincerity in her voice, but I particularly enjoyed as our VP membership, how she encouraged our visitors to also become members and come back because, you know, it brought her back that first meeting. I thought that was really well done, Heike. Go membership person. You're doing a great job. Now, John is the first time he did a role or the experience of something in Toastmasters, and he talked about being the timer. And John is a very good timer, and I really have to commend him for the way that he is able to really focus, active listening, concentrating, because, you know, I'm truly hopeless at timing. So I admire anyone who can do it well. I drift off with a speech and then I'm gone and I forget to turn lights on. And he talked about how it was stressful, but I loved the way he then added in some positivity with it was good and it was fun. And I think that what he could do to add some more to that speech could have been follow on like Heike and encourage others to have a go at doing timer. And he could have actually padded it out a little bit, talking a little bit about contest timer, which John has also done some of. And that's another slightly different job to what you do at club level. So thank you, all of you. John, that was a great way to round out your table topic, and enjoyed all of the table topics tonight. Thank you so much, and a great subject. Well done with the questions, Sawandi. Appreciated it. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Linda. And the feedback from both of our evaluators, very well received, I'm sure, by everyone who took part in the impromptu session this evening. I would now like to welcome back our grammarian who has been listening attentively for the use of the word milestone and any other potential alliteration or other figurative language you may have scattered throughout your assignments this evening. So please join with me in welcoming back our grammarian, John.
I'd like to offer my congratulations to the whole lot of you. The times I've done the counting before, you guys have creamed it. You've won it because it's been. Look, you can see it. It's basically a blank sheet. So when it comes to the word of the day, Heike brought it up 3 times. Thank you, Heike. Mac brought it up once. Sawandi brought it up once. Chin brought it up once. When it comes to the ums and ahs, this is where the numbers get a bit higher. Kim was 13. Megan was 3. Justin was 2, Swetha was 7, and Sawandi 1, and Chin 10. Filler words, the likes of and, so, etc., when used to cover a situation where you're not sure and you're looking for something to fill in the time. Kim 5 times, Megan once. Heike 3 times, Mac twice, Daniel once, Swetha twice, Sawandi once, and Linda once. Filler words, the and so, etc. Kim 5 times, Megan once, Heike 3 times, Mac once, Daniel once, Swetha twice, Sawandi once, and Linda once. Repeats once for Kim and once for once for one of the guests, so that doesn't count. And the memorable words I really like that is love-driven leadership. I just like that expression. It's sort of registered and clicked for me. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, John. And you've certainly been listening well this evening. Our next assignment is that of timer, a very thankless job, but as John was saying, a very complicated one, very stressful, but he hasn't missed a light tonight. So please join with me in welcoming our timer, Mitch Purser.
Thank you, Megan. All in summary, the timing was done very well this evening. There was no large overruns or notable underruns, if that's a word. The toast of the day delivered by Megan ran to 2 minutes 33. John with his word of the day, 1 minute. Our first speaker, Heike, ran for 6 minutes and 5. Kim ran for 6 minutes 50. Mac ran for 7 minutes 7. All of our evaluators, well, not all, we'll run through them. Dan was 1 minute 42. Justin 1 minute 53, and Shwetha 2 minutes 39. In our table topics, with aiming for 1 to 2 minutes, Kim 1 minute 51, Mac 2 minutes 12, Swetha 1 minute 54, Heike 1 minute 39, Megan 1 minute 40, John 42 seconds. Both our evaluators ran a little bit over, with Chin at 3 minutes 36 and Linda at 3 minutes 16. And just prior to your introduction of not missing a timing light, I forgot to time John's grammarian report, but it felt to time. So congratulations on everyone this evening, running very much to time. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Mitch. A very well executed assignment. I would now like to hand control of the meeting back to our president, Kim, who will then talk about the awards from previous meeting and seek some feedback from our visitors. So handing back control of the meeting to you, Kim.
Thank you, Megan, for a great Toastmaster role for our 1000th meeting. So it's wonderful to have had you lead us through. So you've done a great job, and appreciate your experience and great excitement and joy that you bring to the role. Thank you. As Heike alluded to. It's my pleasure to announce the awards for the last meeting. So when we're on Zoom, what we do is we send a voting out on email at the end of the meeting, and Kylie, our VPE, does that, and we vote on the best speaker and the best evaluator and the best table topic. And so our winners for our last meeting is, for the best table topic, was Megan Ash. Congratulations. Our best speech for last meeting was Shwetha. So congratulations, Swetha. We'll be giving out our ribbons when we go face to face, hopefully very shortly at the uni. And Dan gets out his icebreaker ribbon, because that was his icebreaker speech, which was an excellent speech. And then our best evaluator was Sawandi. So congratulations, Sawandi, for a wonderful evaluation. Congratulations. And just for a little bit of club business before we go into some guest feedback, I would just like to remind you that Kylie, our VP, has sent an email out about our upcoming meetings and the speech assignments that you are all doing. And thank you for getting back to her about your pathways. What I'd like to suggest is, if you're not on that list and you're feeling a bit left out, which is understandable, you might feel left out, can I encourage you? And the reason we're a bit tight is because we've got 20 members, because we're a healthy club. So there's less speaking spots. But what happens is COVID, sickness, family, someone won't be able to deliver their speech. So jump onto your pathway, prepare your next couple of speeches, and let Kylie know that you can do it. And she will bump you in. So you won't feel left out. You won't be left out, because you actually will get some speeches done. So just want to encourage you to do that. What else do I want to let you know about? Dates for the diary. Golden Nuggets are coming up on the 27th of February, which is Wiley Jones doing some great development for Toastmasters for public speaking. And that's the District 70 event. Membership fees will be coming in shortly, and John, our treasurer, is onto that. So thank you, John, for organising that. And we have our District 70 annual conference on the 13th and 14th of May. So pop that in your diary. But also we've got a social night coming up on the Wednesday, the 5th Wednesday, which is the 30th of March. And next month we'll organise a social evening. And hopefully that'll be face to face. So they're dates for our diary. Lovely. Okay. So I would like to invite our guests. Thank you for our guests for coming tonight and give us some feedback about our meeting. And first of all, could I invite Fiona? Is this your very first meeting, Fiona?
No, this is my second meeting.
Second meeting. Oh, lovely. So just some feedback, Fiona, about the meeting tonight for you.
Well, it was wonderful to be part of your milestone meeting for your 1000, and great to hear about all the milestones that everyone's achieved. And I hope that on my journey I can achieve my own milestones 3 times. Catching on.
Thank you, Fiona, for coming tonight.
And that really, yeah, very good, love it all. And you're very keen to sign up.
Oh, wonderful. So great. Can I extend a very warm welcome to you? You're very welcome to join us at Nowra. That's lovely to hear. Thank you, Fiona. And Mitzi, thank you for coming along tonight. Can I invite you to share some of your reflections?
Oh, absolutely. I'm so humbled to be able to come tonight. When you said 1,000th meeting, I thought, oh, I just got to get there. I told my home club, sorry, can't make it. And, you can't help but evaluate when you go to meetings, and you've got that moments of truth kind of mentality. Yep, friendliness, tick. Yep, agenda, tick, and I just kept tick, 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 all over. The structure has been unbelievable. The quality of the meetings, is just unbelievable. And I'm looking at your dashboard, and you're doing so well in there. One thing, I want to encourage the 7th club leader to come forward and do the ACLT, because you got 6 there. It'd be great to get that last 7th there. But no, I really, really was so impressed with the doing mentality and the diversity and the speech, the themes that came out of all the speakers. It was just really heartwarming. And I'm so glad I came, because you take away something really special. And Kylie Rayner, she's helping me as one of the staff to recognize distinguished clubs. And yeah, too bad she's not here. I just wanted to do a shout out to her for her contribution. And really, really, congratulations. That is awesome. And your milestone, doing it on Zoom, no less. Well done. Really great.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Mitzi. That was very encouraging to us all. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And can I invite Juliana to give us some reflections?
Thank you, Madam President. Club members of Nowra, must be something in the air in Nowra Toastmasters for sure. Max going thumbs up. Even your guest today, she's now stepping in as a member. And I have to say for myself, the milestone, monumental milestone, if you have the member of parliament, consider even that she could actually be a Toastmaster. She corrected herself, all in Nowra Toastmaster Club vibe. I think it's something in this club, unstoppable. Where I would recommend is, it's a shame we didn't record her presentation. So with an event, just make sure we have a checklist where we start, and we have that recorded, and you have that for your 2000th meeting coming up. And I really love the table topic segment. I mean, the first, and here I was racking my brain because I've been 18 years a Toastmaster. So I'm thinking, oh, what would be the question asked? So thank you for such an inspirational table topic session. Here's another recommendation. Always pick people not on the agenda, so that we can hear, and even if they play small roles, because they've only spoken for a minute in this 2 hours. So invite people that haven't spoken. And I hope you indulge me, because we want to make the bestest club in district. So Nowra is already the best, right? However, I'm thinking this is great if everyone wants a challenge. Come be a district leader. That would be a first. Yeah. Okay, that I could speak underwater coming to Toastmasters. So I just swim along, enjoyed my 18 years until I had to present the speech of my life. And that was when I was going for votes, because I actually, for the first time, wanted to be a leader. And I couldn't just put my name up for a VPE role or a president. No, as club growth director, you have to present a speech and people vote for you. And I love this district because I had two other contenders. So there were 3 of us. And for the first time, it wasn't just Juliana walking in and just taking. So please step up, and there are area directors here, area directors who are here, past area directors. Come on up, swing in the skinny branches. And there's a lot of love, but it is scary, but there's a lot of love. Finally, another date to put in your diary. So district is organizing a social event, a face-to-face social event. We have heard members say Zoom fatigue. We have heard the challenges already. We don't like being online. But this unstoppable club, we didn't know any better. You even had a dignitary, a member of parliament come this evening. So amazing, okay? So on the 25th of March, the growth team is looking to organize a success amidst pandemic event. That's right. We want to celebrate the successes, and you will be receiving a nomination email. Please nominate, and it's going to be down the alley of Nowra Toastmaster Club. Nominate your unsung hero. And so when the committee of club growth looks at it, we will shout this person dinner to come and be awarded by our Region 12 International Director, Leslie Storkey, and be mentioned Nowra Toastmasters that evening. So please send in your nominations. So it's 25th of March at Liverpool Catholic Club, a face-to-face social with 50s vibe to celebrate the successes amidst pandemic. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Juliana. So encouraging. Thank you. And thank you for all those great tips as well. It's really wonderful to give us that feedback as well. So wonderful. And that sounds so exciting. The 25th of March so it's an unsung hero in our club, a club membership, someone that's really been a hero for us. That's a wonderful thing to be doing, and recognizing people's hard work and keep people coming back for more. So how wonderful. So pop that in the diaries. 25th of March. Is that a weekend? Is it a Saturday?
It's a Friday night.
Friday night. Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
Can I just add to that? On Thursday, Cronulla RSL is celebrating their 60th anniversary. So there'll be a 2-course meal. Right. Then we've got this event with Juliana's at Liverpool.
Okay.
And then we've also got a cake cutting event for our 50th anniversary We're still, venue's still to be determined. We're still organizing that, but it's to celebrate the district. So we're going to make a weekend of it, actually.
Oh, wonderful.
So if you want to travel on up, let us know.
Wonderful. I used to be an old Cronulla girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Lovely.
from the Shire. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Juliana and Mitzi, for coming. And thank you, Fiona, for being our guest tonight. And thank you so much to all our wonderful members, the executive team for putting tonight on, and our members as well. Thank you so much for your contributions. You've all done a wonderful job. And it's been a memorable night for our 1000th meeting. And I just want to thank you so much for being here, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you at our next meeting. Yes.
Sorry, can I just take 1 minute of everyone's time?
Absolutely, yes. Can I
Thank you.
acknowledge Linda, our Area 30 Director and member of Nowra Toastmasters,
Thank you.
of course.
So many of you will know that we had our area contest on Saturday, and I thank
Yes.
everybody who helped out with that and came along to see our speakers. Our people who placed in that particular contest, we had 2 contests. We had the international contest first, and then we had the evaluation contest after it. And we have placements from our group of clubs, which of course, just as a reminder, we have in our area, Nowra, of course, Dapto, Illawarra, Kiama, and South Coast Gourmet. So out of the 5 clubs, our first place winner for international speech contest was Angie Bokenham, and she was representing Illawarra on this occasion. And our first place for the evaluation contest was Dave Egan, who is also representing Illawarra. So Illawarra Club was the big winner out of this particular contest. However, they now go forward to our Southern Division contest, and it is going to be on Zoom, and I'd really like you all to put in your diary March, it's a Saturday afternoon, March the 12th is our Southern Division contest on Zoom. So you can pop in and watch it and enjoy all those speeches from all the other clubs within our Southern Division region. Now, Catherine McClellan is our Southern Division director, and she is busy on a club an area contest actually tonight, which is where I was supposed to be. So she's asked me also to just say on her behalf, congratulations to Nowra Club for your 1000th meeting. She would love to have been here also, but is very busy on another Zoom. And just a big congratulations to Nowra, and well done. So thank you, Kim, for giving me just a couple of minutes there. As your Area 30 director, I'd like to say that Nowra is my star club on the leaderboard. So yeah, well done, Nowra. You're doing a great job. It's really a very healthy club, and you can be proud of yourselves because each and every one of you contributes to that. Thanks, Kim. Back to you.
Thank you, Linda. So it's great to hear about the outcome of the area contest, and well done, Heike. And I know Rebecca couldn't be here, but well done for entering that club contest on Saturday. And so mark dates in the diary, 12th of March for that Southern Division contest. Sounds exciting. So we look forward to seeing you in, I think it's the first Wednesday of the month. The date escapes my mind, but early March. And look forward to hearing our next round of speeches and evaluations. And don't forget to vote for best speaker, best evaluator, and best table topics at the end of the meeting. Kylie will probably send that out tomorrow because she was tied up with work tonight. So I wish you well for the evening, and congratulations once again. And thank you all very much. I shall close the meeting at 8:50 p.m. And thanks, Linda, for doing the minutes. I'll stick around if anyone wants to chat. Otherwise,
want to stop the recording?
Farewell. Thank you. Yes, I shall.